Oh, you want me to do it?
Yes. No, you know what? You do it.
Me? Yeah, you do it.
Right. No. You do it. No,
you do it.
Me do it? Okay. Someone fucking do it, okay? Hi there, and welcome to the BlueMilk podcast, where we talk anything and everything about Star Wars. I'm Tyler.
I'm Jacob.
I'm BJ.
I'm drinking.
So, any of you guys?
Hi, Dirk.
We brought a good topic.
Not yet. I'm working on it.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to do the fan topic first?
No.
Yeah.
We have a fan topic?
We
have
do.
a fan topic.
Really?
Yeah.
Fan topic.
Fan topic.
You guys actually talk to us?
People
That's cool.
talk to us, or at least me.
Oh.
All right, well, give us his name and his topic.
Who is
All
it?
right, so this is from Matt Hinshaw, one of our subscribers.
Woo! Hey, Matt.
So his question is, The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson is said to be making a new Star Wars trilogy in the near future.
In the new future.
Also the new future, because the
It
future
is.
is new.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to see made into a big screen film trilogy out of the Star Wars universe, canon or not canon?
Space slugs.
I already know my answer on this one.
Matt says he would personally like to see Darth Bane, the line of novels made into films, or Darth Revan's story.
I have to agree with you, Matt. Anything in the Old Republic would be pretty amazing.
Yeah. Either Bane or Revan would be
Yeah.
tits.
I'd agree with both of those. I personally would go with the Thrawn trilogy. I think that would be a good set of movies.
Which Thrawn trilogy?
Yeah, I was going to say, because now there's two of them.
The 5 years after the original Heir to the Empire.
The original.
Yeah, the original.
Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah.
I get you. Okay, yeah. All right. What about you, Junior?
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah, Junior.
We named the dog Indiana.
You were named after the dog?
The fuck are you from?
It's a line from the movie.
Yeah, I know, but what accent was that?
Oh, not a good one.
I'm not good at accents at all.
I don't want anyone to touch the Bane trilogy. It's too close to my heart. I feel like it will get messed up and not.
Stop being a dick and let them do what they do best.
No.
Actually, no, they could totally.
They could.
Just imagine if it was George Lucas. Doing
Oh
it.
dear God.
I want something.
He'd do it, and then in 20 years he'd come back and redo it and fuck it all up.
No, he would just fuck it to begin with. He would
Literally.
fuck it hard. Just imagine.
Yeah.
He would literally
Look
grab
how well
the
I
film.
did with the prequels.
Darth Bane, Gungans.
Oh my god.
Jesus
Darth Bane massacring Gungan.
No, that would be awesome, but no, that wouldn't happen.
I would want something kind of. I want it to be in Old Republic because we don't have anything from Old Republic. But I don't want it to be. I want it to be a background story, kind of like how Rogue One was to like the main story itself.
So
like the Outlander.
I want like a spy thriller movie.
Ooh, spy thriller. Oh,
That
so
takes-
similar to like what they were doing with Boba Fett's
1313.
1313.
Yeah,
1313 would be awesome.
13. It's a video game like they were going to
Main
be.
Bond?
Well, okay, so the premise behind 1313 was that you're actually playing a young Boba Fett. I don't know what the fuck you did with your writing utensils.
That's hot.
All right, hurry it up.
Holding.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Come on, hurry it up.
I'm back.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
1313.
All right, so the premise behind 1313, the actual game, was that essentially you were playing a young Boba Fett.
Boba.
Boba
Yeah.
Fett.
Boba Fett. Boba.
He caught it this time.
You were playing a young Boba Fett as he's learning to actually become a bounty hunter, and what it is you're going into the bowels of Coruscant.
Level 1313.
Yeah, because you know
Interesting.
that Coruscant's actually made up of like a million different layers of
Right.
city.
Right.
And the deeper you go, the more you get into like the bowels of where like all the water, the food is grown. A lot of the criminal elements go down because it's easier to hide. There's less like police and everything because all the police are up on top and everything like that. So he's essentially descending to level 1313 because if you go any lower, then you generally just get into like the big machine bits that like pump water and heat and food.
And then there's like the
electricity to
old city
top.
and everything like that where creatures actually live. There are creatures
Interesting.
that don't see the light of day because at that level, there's no daylight or anything like that.
Yeah.
So-
It's all artificial light and shit like that. So, but that was the whole premise behind 1313, and you're essentially playing a young Boba Fett as he's like going through and like trying to figure out what the hell to do, and he, like, all sorts of shit happens in like the intro where you end up losing your ship and you get separated from the mentor character that Boba is apprenticed to effectively, and the story is you're supposed to proceed to that, and we'll never see this game because they canceled it.
It looks so good. It looks so
Fuck
good.
you guys.
Well, it was starting like a development and everything in like 2011, 2012, and that's when Disney bought it, and they completely shut down LucasArts.
Shit.
Well, no, they didn't shut down LucasArts
Yeah,
because LucasArts still kind of works in tandem with DICE,
I don't wanna
and that's
talk-
where they're working with
LucasArts
Battlefront.
is still
I
its own
hope-
Fuck DICE.
entity.
Fuck EA.
Honestly, okay.
Motive, you did okay.
I don't really give a shit about EA, honestly. Like, I'm not defending EA. Yes, they have really shady business practices, but the thing is they're a business.
They were literally voted the worst company in America twice in a row.
That is correct. I'm aware of this, but they do that.
How did they beat AT&T?
How could they beat?
Sorry, AT&T, you're no longer going to be
How
a
could they beat
sponsor for it.
CenturyLink?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like seriously.
Damn.
Yeah. So like honestly, like EA is just looking at it on the bottom line. Honestly, I'd rather just prefer that EA sticks to working on the bottom line and putting out the cookie cutter games that they put out over and over again to make sure that they make money and everything like that, and then just leave like the good games to nice companies.
Yeah.
Like BioWare was good, and
BioWare was great.
BioWare was always owned by EA.
Yeah.
When they made Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, all 3 games were under EA.
That's a good game too.
But anyway, it's getting off topic.
Oh, way off topic.
Yeah,
but
way
off topic.
But yeah, so,
So-
I want kind of like a 1313, but more of like a spy thriller type of thing, but not James Bond. It's I don't know, because James Bond.
You say spy thriller, I think James Bond.
but I don't want it to
Everyone's gonna think
be.
James Bond.
I don't want it to be like the James Bond character. I want it to be a different type of character.
Yeah, we get
like
you.
a spy.
Like a Mara Jade.
Yeah.
No, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
That would be kind of cool.
But it would also work really well in the Empire era as well, with the Imperials trying to spy on the rebellion and everything. That'd be a great trilogy.
I
as
do
well.
have to say, during the Rebellion era, we don't actually see a whole lot of Coruscant. I mean, we only actually see like one scene.
Yeah.
That's it.
Seriously?
Well, there are some of the books
there's
now
very little.
are going a little bit more. I just finished Lost Stars, and they were on the academy, the Imperial Academy on Coruscant for like 5 years or so, everything. So we got a little bit.
But now, with the Jedi gone, you don't actually see like the kind of corruptness that's happening literally on Coruscant. If there even is any corruptness.
Well, no, there's absolutely corruption.
There absolutely is.
There's a lot of corruption on
Yeah.
Coruscant. I mean, the fact that the Empire was able to come to power simply because the Republic was as corrupted as it had become when Palpatine came to power in the first place.
Right.
So, I mean, that corruption didn't go away. It just kind of found a new home in the Empire.
Mhm.
But you. So he wants to see like an old Republic kind of spy thing.
Mhm.
What about you?
I agree with Matt.
We all agree with Matt. I
Yeah.
mean, let's just start with that
okay,
premise.
if we're gonna stick with that, what I kind of after that kind of want to see is dive deeper into bounty hunters. And I know you hate the Hutts, but Jabba the Hutt and
Well, not Jabba all the way. I mean,
Just-
if you're going Old Republic, Jabba's not around.
Mhm.
no, I'm not on Old Republic.
Oh, you're not?
You're going
No.
Clone Wars, Eric?
Clone? Empire? Rebellion?
All of them.
He just wants bounty hunters. He wants to dive a little.
Oh, you just want to see
Yeah.
like... Well, what about Mandalore? Like, I mean, you're talking about bounty hunters specifically, but I mean, we all know the most famous bounty hunter of all is
Correct.
Boba Fett.
Right. Who is a Mandalorian?
Who is the last? Well, it was the last Mandalorian before Rebels, and I think Rebels.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Which is retarded. They should have just left him the last Mandalorian.
No, because
They should've.
Isn't
No.
what
Yeah,
isn't
they
it?
should've.
I
What's
like
her
how
What's
they
her
did it.
name? The chick that's in charge, isn't she a Mandalorian or something
Pre
like that?
Vista.
What are you talking
Hela
about?
or Helena?
No, she's a Twi'lek actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but she's not Mandalorian. One of the girls.
Say the name so I can throw it up.
Oh my goodness, I can't think of it right now.
You said Helena.
No, Helena's the Twi'lek. She's the one that's in charge of the ghost, right?
Okay.
I can't think of her name.
Hera.
Hera. There.
Hera.
Thank you.
Hera.
Yeah.
As in Jupiter's wife.
H-E-R-A.
Yeah.
Okay.
H-E-R-A.
And then there is Sabine Wren.
Sabine.
Wren.
Sabine.
Yeah,
Sabine.
Sabine.
Not Sabine.
Ren. Yeah.
S-E-B-I-N-E.
R-E-N. The
Yeah.
exact same as the exact same spelling
Sabine.
as
Okay.
Knights of Ren. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, which is making him like squint going, wait, is there a fucking connection
There-
here?
right,
There's
yeah.
no
I
connection.
At the moment, there isn't.
I just want to make
There
sure
might be.
that
There's
I
like
pull
40
out the
years
right
between
images for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could be the grandmother.
She actually gets,
She could be a badass grandmother.
She gets a hold of the Darksaber because Darth Maul actually gives it back to her, and then she gives it to Satine.
Before or after he was half price?
This is before he gets killed by
Before he
Obi-Wan.
gets
Spoiler
killed
alert.
by Obi-Wan a second time.
Yeah, like finally he actually gets killed.
Spoilers.
He actually gets killed.
There's no spoilers.
I know.
Like seriously, this thing has been around for like
You know
at least
what?
a year at this point.
No,
It's-
actually, he died. Technically, it was in May, so it's
Almost a fucking year at this point.
It's the
No.
BlueMilk podcast.
Three months.
If
Spoilers.
you guys should expect spoilers at any time.
we can't filter our spoilers.
When we do our episode, we're gonna be doing a special review episode the night of release for episode 8.
Yes, we are.
yeah, we are.
We're gonna have some fucking
Well,
spoilers in there.
Maybe the morning after. He's going to take a pill.
He
Okay.
took a pill and a piece. No,
Oh my
sorry.
goodness, Tyler.
Go on.
Have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up.
Put the lime in the coconut.
Anyway.
Okay,
Yeah,
moving on.
we're going to be doing a special review episode of that with all of our reactions to it, so you'll get us nice and raw.
You made him choke on his wine.
I'll make him choke on something else.
At least he's not choking on his aspirations.
Shut the fuck up,
Dude.
that is a terrible fucking line.
I
Worst
love
line
it.
ever.
That is totally Dad Vader.
I love it.
worst.
He's a dad.
Fucking line
Perfect.
ever.
All right.
Anyway, we're gonna be doing a special episode for that. So
Yes.
stay
Bring in
tuned for that.
alcohol for that night, because you know I'm going to need it after the movie. Yeah. We'll get
Okay,
about
But
a
anyway,
line.
we'll work
Moving
out,
on.
we'll work
We'll
out the
worry about
details and
that.
we'll have that.
Another trilogy that I would like to see is going a little bit more deep dive into the Mandalorian culture and whatnot. But that's just my little.
That's your personal.
That's just my little personal.
That's all right.
Gotcha. What about
I
you?
love it.
Thrawn.
I already said
Yeah,
Thrawn. I would be. I'd really actually be interested in seeing more about the Iron Knights and the.
Yeah.
God damn it! I keep the Vong.
The Yuuzhan Vong.
Yes,
Oh.
Yuzhang Vong.
Yeah,
I
but
would
that's
I would like to see something on them.
technically those motherfuckers don't exist in the canon right now.
Neither does the Old Republic.
Wishy-washy. They keep
There
bringing
are-
things
there
in
are
from the Old
parts-
Republic back in, like
There are
Hammerheads.
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
There's
in
parts of the Old Republic
Bane
that are
is
becoming
canon.
canon.
So
Yeah.
shit that was once not like people would say is not canon is definitely still Disney canon because they keep bringing stuff in. So
Problem is, I don't think
they're getting the
there's-
Thrawn trilogy rewritten.
I don't
So
think there's
Thrawn's
enough
gonna be
information
canon
on
again.
the Iron Knights.
Well, I mean, he was in Rebels.
Yeah, he was in Rebels, so he's already
The
canon.
Iron Knights are really good.
They are, but I don't think there's
They're
enough
not
information on them
Oh, there
to
is.
do a trilogy.
You could
Maybe a
definitely
movie.
Oh, fuck, man.
Maybe a Rogue One.
Literally,
type movie.
they made Rogue One based off of one line.
They did.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's
That's fair. And Rogue One was good.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was alright.
It was well done.
A lot of people don't really like it. Interestingly
A
enough,
lot of people don't like Episode 7.
Episode 7.
Episode 7 is just Episode 4 redone.
No.
With new characters.
Exactly.
It is.
But all the movies are just Episode 4.
Hey,
redone.
at least they're
No,
better than the
no,
prequels right now.
5
Okay,
is good.
guys.
Yeah,
They're better
it
than
starts
the
out...
prequels.
5 is totally different
It
than
starts,
Episode 4.
No, it starts out... They're
They're not on a desert planet. They're on a ice planet.
Oh, big difference.
It's
Exact
it is.
fucking
They are
opposite.
exact opposites.
And they're space slugs. There's no space slugs.
It's
in
true. This is no cave,
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
and there are Minox.
there was no...
There's no Minox
there was
in
no-
fucking episode.
and there's
there
four.
was no
Vader
Black
versus
Dude in
Luke.
episode 4.
Huh? What?
That's true. The first time you see the black dude is in episode 5.
And there's
The
no,
first
there's
black
no
person
Vader
in the Star
versus
Wars
Luke.
universe.
There's
Yeah,
no Vader versus
so-
Luke either. And
Episode 4.
Well,
Stop
technically,
it. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much.
technically,
what?
you can say that there was a Vader versus Luke.
Lightsaber. We all know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
people.
there was no like
No one
lightsaber
knows
duel
what
between
you're talking
Vader
You
and
know,
Luke.
I don't even know what I'm talking about sometimes.
Personally, the trilogy I would like to see made.
Oh, it is your turn. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
The trilogy I would like to see made would follow Shmi.
It ends with her in the Sand People camp.
Thank you. No, Shmi, absolutely.
How she got banged by the Holy Ghost or some shit.
No, Shmi is awesome. Shmi is awesome. I would like to see like a Jesus trilogy.
Shmi is not a MILF.
Shmi is great.
Shmi is definitely a MILF.
No, she isn't.
Yes, she
no,
is.
no, dude.
What do you think she's doing while Anakin's racing?
We need to get his eyes checked.
What do you think she's doing while Anakin's racing?
No, she's doing this.
That's just that one time, but remember, she said, "I hate it when you race, because that means I have to suck, your
She
master's
never
dick."
said that.
No, but she was thinking it.
She sucks Watto's dick.
Yeah. He owns her.
What's going on?
So Shmi, that would be great. But joking aside, I would like to see an old Republic trilogy made, but not something that has already been done. So Bane's been done, Revan's been done, Outlander's been done. I would like there's a lot of time in the Old Republic time frame. Like
Yeah, we're talking 20, 30,000 years.
more like 5,000.
We're talking 20, 30,000 years.
Well, it depends. Oh, actually, if
What
we're
you
going back
actually
that
take-
far,
what you
the
actually
first
take.
hyperspace war.
So 40,000 years.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The first hyperspace war, where essentially you have Marco Ragnos,
Ooh, yes.
who essentially takes over
Yes.
who forms the Sith Empire.
Yes.
The Sith Empire didn't exist prior to Marco Ragnos. He's the one that actually unified it all behind him,
I
because
got
he was
another good one.
strong enough to actually unify all of these different factions within
Wait,
the Sith that
I thought
hated
Marco
each other.
Ragnos was a female.
Marco Ragnos is a man.
Which one of them is the female then? I know,
I don't
there's
know.
one that is a female.
There.
The founders of the Sith Empire.
She might be one of the faction leaders, but because there's Mark
Ragnos.
Well, there's Marco Ragnos.
There's
Oh my God, there's so many of them.
fuck, I can't think of any of their names.
I know I can't think of any of their names either.
There's like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
One of them was a female.
Yeah, I know one of them was a female, but Marco Ragnos was the one that unified them all. He was the one that actually was strong enough to actually unify all of the different factions and kind of like make them all shut the fuck up and keep them all in line. And he was the one that he's the one that caused everyone to kind of be like, we're an empire. And it was one of the other, so if look up the first hyperspace war, but essentially the first the way it starts is the Sith actually existed on Korriban in their own little world, and they didn't fuck with anyone.
Well, they were on multiple planets.
Well, yeah, but they had their own system,
Yeah.
but like their homes, their capital was Korriban.
Yeah.
And they pretty much like had their own shit. They had their own system. They didn't fuck with anyone. They didn't do that. The Republic was over here doing its
and they
thing in
didn't
the
know
core
what-
systems.
They didn't know what Korriban was.
And they didn't even know Korriban was in the unknown space. It was too far out. This was before they went anywhere out of the galactic center, where like Coruscant and all those other main Republic planets were. But the Sith Empire pretty much was formed by Marco Ragnos, where he unified all of them. And then what happened was there was 2 explorers on a ship that so the way they explored the galaxy, because the way the jumps work is they jump between beacons that help people find safe pathways through the galaxy without running into planets or something like that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, super good idea. Well, back in the beginning, during the first hyperspace war, a bunch of explorers would just randomly jump in random directions and hope
randomly disintegrate
and hope they didn't run into like black holes or suns or planets or anything along those lines. And if they survived, then they would drop a beacon so that people knew that it was safe to do that.
Whee! I made it.
Exactly. Well, these two guys inadvertently landed on Korriban. And one of the faction leader guys, I forgot his fucking name, but he's one of the really important ones. Nagasato?
Nagasato. Yeah.
Nagasaki.
No, Nagasato.
I just remembered another name too. Was Freedon Nad.
Freedon Nad is good. Yeah, Freedon Nad is good. It's one of these guys, but they essentially managed to capture the two Republic.
He sounds Chinese.
Yeah, a little bit maybe.
Okay.
Anyway.
As well.
One of these faction leaders essentially manages to capture these two Republic explorers, and he essentially spins it to Mark Aragnos and the rest of the Sith Empire at that point that the Republic is invading, and these guys are the front runners. They're here to scout out everything. They're scouts for the invasion force from the Republic. We got to strike back. We got to preemptively strike back before the Republic invades our space. So that's what kicked off the first hyperspace war, which was essentially when the Empire first actually went to war with the Republic. And I think that would make a really good story.
That would be amazing.
Because that would definitely have aspects of your spy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Empire, the Sith definitely sent spies out after that. So that would have your spy aspect to it, and then it would also have a lot of Old Republic feel, which is what all of us agree from involving Matt's topic. But it's a story that hasn't been told. It's never actually really been hinted at. Like no one's actually gone that far back.
No. Like
the farthest anyone's ever gone back is Revan, I believe, with the Old Republic, the video game. Yeah. So yeah, the first hyperspace war I think would be a really good place to do a trilogy, which has a lot of stuff going on. Jacob though had an interesting idea.
He did?
Yeah.
The spy thing?
No. About the other thing that would be really cool.
The thing.
Starting even going farther back than that, going with the Force Wars, where
how far back?
Time-wise,
how far back are we talking?
1,000 to 2,000 years after or before the hyperspace, the first hyperspace.
And for those of me who don't know how far back that is, how far back is
about 38,000 years?
38,000 BBY.
Yeah. Before the Battle of
yeah. This technically the Force Wars was before the Republic actually
existed.
Yeah. The Force Wars takes place on Tython.
So this really would have been how Star Wars started.
This is the beginning of the Sith and the Jedi.
Yes, it would have been how Star Wars started.
This is how the conflict between those two. Yeah.
That would have been
lightsabers.
That would be really
lightsabers had a battery pack. They were hooked up to that, so they were very
rechargeable.
No,
you plug them into USB ports.
No, they're wear a proton pack, like Ghostbusters. They wear the battery on their back,
dude,
and it has a cord going to the lightsaber handle.
Okay, what is this?
Look up lightsaber, and it will show it in the beginning of it on Wikipedia.
Ancient lightsabers.
Yeah. Lightsaber during the Force Wars.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Ancient lightsaber.
Yeah.
Saber, ancient lightsaber.
Yeah, and I mean that's what you would like if you would have a trilogy back then. It would be like the Force Wars, like the beginning.
They're just learning how to use the Force.
Yeah,
like they don't even know what it is.
Yeah, like after like a few years after learning what the Force is and everything, they actually start learning it.
Well, not even what it is, but just that they can do stuff with it.
Yeah,
See, that is cool. That is really cool. sparks
before
my
the
imagination.
cosmic force, before the living force, before the midi-chlorians and all that bullshit.
They
the
just
force.
found out that they could do stuff, and then
Hey, there's something that we can use it. What can we call it?
and what-
The force.
yeah, but
boil
why?
water.
What is the war premise behind it?
It's mainly people. It's
I can do more stuff than you can, so
No, listen,
No.
listen. He'll
The
explain it.
war is more of should we use emotions to fuel it or not? That's really what it is, and that's where the Jedi and the Sith kind of separate. The Jedi believe that they shouldn't use emotions or anything like that. The Sith use emotions because it was because of love, pretty much. They saw that love can strengthen themselves, and that's where we should be able to use our emotions. And then it went, woo, we're going to take it to the dark side.
Well,
Pretty
they
much.
didn't quite get there yet because they
didn't
weren't.
go all the way to
They
the
weren't
dark
even
side,
called
no.
Jedi or Sith at
No.
that point. They were
Yeah.
light side Force users and dark side Force users. And technically, they weren't even considered dark side Force users because they didn't even know there was a
They
light and a dark side. They didn't even consider it
They
that
just
way.
had the Force, and ones were using the emotions to strengthen themselves, the other ones were not, pretty much.
Yeah. And like literally it was just like there was the council and they were like, we don't like that this faction is doing it this way, so we'll just kick them off Tython. And they kicked them off the planet and
They landed on Korriban and took over the species. The Sith, wow. The species? The Sith species. And interbreed became, that's the Sith. So yeah. The Sith species thought that they were gods, and so they treated them like gods, and they made pyramids.
They did.
the Masasi.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I like the Sith more and more all the time.
They're good people.
So apparently Dirk likes interbreeding.
No, they don't inbreed.
No, they...
There was no inbreeding involved in the Sith.
They were fucking the Sith.
That's not inbreeding though. Because the Dark
That's-
Force users, when they showed up, weren't
That's
Sith.
interspecies breeding.
Interspecies breeding.
That's the one I was looking for. So apparently Dirk likes interspecies breeding.
Well, yeah, who doesn't? You'd fuck a Twi'lek.
No, I would not.
Why not?
Because they're fucking ugly.
Twi'leks are you racist.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Wow.
I guarantee you'd fuck a Falleen.
What is a Falleen?
I bet you're right.
Mm,
I bet you're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's a falling first off? I don't know what it is.
All right.
Not a Rancor.
No, it's not a
Damn
rank.
it.
So you wouldn't fuck it. Falleen is Falleen's Falleen was introduced in Shadows of the Empire.
Uh-huh.
Shadows of the Empire is the book that takes place in between episode 5 and 6, which essentially follows a character named Dash Rendar, who was hired by Leia to find Han. Because in episode 5, Han gets frozen in carbonite at the end, and he gets taken away by Boba Fett to Jabba. But they don't. There's like a year. It's essentially like a year gap.
There's a lot of shit that happens in between.
Yeah, well, like you'll notice, like Luke loses his lightsaber at the end of episode 5 when he's on Cloud City and fights Darth Vader.
Mhm.
But somehow he has a new lightsaber when he fights Jabba, like when he fights the Rancor at the very beginning of episode 6.
He doesn't have his lightsaber then.
Yeah, he has his green lightsaber.
Yeah.
Not when he's fighting.
Oh,
the
not when
Rancor.
he's fighting the Rancor.
No.
I'm sorry, but he does. He has his
At
lightsaber
Jabba's
at Jabba's palace
He
because
has
it's
his
in
green-
R2D2. Oh, it's in R2D2, sir. Because remember, R2D2 shoots it out when they're on the
Oh, yeah?
Speaking of
The
your,
barge?
You're not making it any better.
depending on your
out.
depending on your definition of lightsaber and in,
It could go both ways. It was in him. It was in him deep. So deep.
it was pretty deep.
It was real deep. In his head.
And he ejected.
He ejected it out of a port in his head.
Speaking of orifices, wow, you fucking retard brigade over there.
No, he pulled my hand down. That's why I missed. He did a dick move and prevented a high five.
Thank you, Matt.
But anyway, the Falleen was essentially there's Prince Caesar, which is like the leader of the Black Sun.
Oh, I know what the Black Sun is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
guys would be proud
And
of me.
And Prince Caesar was the leader of the Black Sun and had a facility called the Skyhook, and they blew it up and blah 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 blah. Yeah,
Some shit happened.
Some shit happened. They find Han. They find him over at Jabba's. They're like, "Oh yeah, it is great."
And threw a little party.
Like Luke, it's
alcohol.
Luke going through the process of building his own lightsaber and everything like that, and all the shit he had to go through.
Did you know that Darth Maul uses the Black Sun to take over Mandalore?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
They're one of the biggest crime syndicates in the galaxy at that point.
And he also uses the Hutts, and he kills one.
Well, I mean, who doesn't kill Hutts? You seem like really excited, like, oh my god, and he kills one, and I'm like, who the fuck doesn't?
Yeah.
They're hard to kill. They have a lot
Hutts? Hutts are really easy to kill. Do you see how fast Jabba is able to run away?
They actually do have a lot of muscle underneath them.
Yeah, they do. But they also, in order to do anything involving combat,
lay.
need a hover battle armor.
Also
Have you ever seen a Hutt in
No.
hover battle armor?
No.
Because I have. It is ridiculous.
Is it beautiful?
They're a hover tank. It's literally, it turns a Hutt into a hover tank.
And they just sit on people? They just
No,
lay on people?
they
Do you know
fucking
how long
kill
it
them.
takes them to get dressed?
A long
That's
time.
why they're always naked.
Pretty much. They're also asexual. They just split.
They have enough meat.
And on
so-
that note,
Moving on.
No, I think we're pretty much done with the episode today.
Matt, you filled up an entire podcast. Well done.
Yeah, thank
well done.
you, Matt. Thank you for filling up the entire
Yes, thank you.
episode.
Well
This
done,
episode
dude.
is dedicated to Matt Hinshaw for his question.
Well done.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today in this episode of the BlueMilk podcast. I hope you loved it. If you did, please.
Like, share, subscribe.
He said it
Oh
wrong.
my god, he got it all right.
No, he said it wrong.
Like, share,
Like-
subscribe.
Like, subscribe,
No,
share,
no, no,
Like,
no.
share,
Like,
subscribe.
share.
go fuck yourselves.
No.
Wow.
It doesn't
Fine.
matter.
Subscribe first,
Then like,
then like
then
it,
share.
then share.
Or maybe share, then like, then subscribe.
No, I don't care what
it
you
doesn't
do.
matter.
Leave
You know
a
what?
comment.
You know what?
Yeah.
Just
If you guys have
Just-
a topic that we
just
haven't,
stroke it.
Just stroke it
Stroke it.
nice.
if you
Stroke
guys
it
have a
real
topic,
nice.
if you guys have a topic that we haven't discussed yet, like Matt Hinshaw, please leave it in the comments. We'd
Yeah.
love to discuss it
Absolutely.
because we're running out of freaking ideas here.
I
No,
know.
we're
I'm
No,
not
not
at all.
really.
Maybe
He might be.
He is.
Thank you guys.
I rarely
no,
ever talk.
We also have a Facebook page. We need to print.
Yeah.
Print it out.
So
Oh
they
yeah, and a
fucking
Twitter
say
page. And we have a Twitter
and
page.
a Twitter profile.
that
we
nobody
we
pays
tweet
attention
the
to.
Twitter profile.
We have a Twitter. Yeah.
We'll kind of
tweet
have
people?
it like
Yes,
a thing.
we put out
above.
tweets.
It's
All right.
at.
Start that again.
So we
No. This is all good. Leave it all in
No,
here.
we need to. We don't even know what the fuck we have apparently.
No, we do. He doesn't.
Oh,
We have the BlueMilk Podcast. Our Twitter account is at BlueMilk Podcast. It's that simple. And then you just go on Facebook, look up the BlueMilk Podcasts, and we're right there as well.
YouTube
So-
is the BlueMilk Podcast.
Whoa.
Well, they know because they're watching.
Oh, that's right.
Hi.
I'm drinking.
So yeah, just like it, follow us. We're awesome people. So we
Talk to us.
Yeah.
We like comments.
Please
we
We
like
feel free-
Star Wars. So talk to us about Star Wars.
talk about us with Star Wars.
Please feel free to share your opinions with us.
Okay, you
Can I have
fucking
some more
hobbit.
porridge as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your feet hairy. Yeah. They're like 8 feet long.
Yeah. Toodles.
Anyways, deuces.